YouTube, we are here showing the buffs and the nerfs on all of the following skills that have been changed in the patch notes as we check out the patch notes for 3.3 as we are 2 days away from Incursion League. So get hype, get pumped, get excited. We are looking at the numerical values and their changes to each of these skills. We've already done the mechanical changes as well as the overhauls to traps. You can go ahead and look at the videos over there, I guess, on your sidebar. You can click over there and check out some more videos if you haven't seen them yet for more patch notes stuff. So Storm Burst, let's take a look. Storm Burst now deals 31 to 47 lightning damage at gem level 1. This is up from 9 to 13. This is just a straight buff. Up to 183 to 275 lightning damage at gem level 20. Up from 50 to 76. More than doubling, almost tripling, pretty much tripling the damage on Storm Burst. That's great. It now deals 65% more area damage, down from 250% more. So that's a nerf in its area damage. But now has an added damage effectiveness of 40%, up from 10%, which is great. And then area of effect increased by 10%. So just across the board, Storm Burst, pretty much a buff. Orb of Storm now deals 2 to 5 lightning damage, up from 1 to 3, so a slight buff. Up to 118 to 353 lightning damage at gem level 20, up from 59 to 157 or to 177. So that's also a buff. Now it has added damage effectiveness up to 45%, up from 20%, and increases to cast speed now affect Orb of Storm's strike rate, which is great for those of you that actually use Orb of Storms. It's a buff across the board. Ball Lightning now deals 2 to 35 lightning damage at gem level 1, up from 2 to 32, so 3 damage. This is a buff. Up to 22 to 420 lightning damage at gem level 20, up from 14 to 260. And you notice they leave a little comment there, dank, because it's got 420 lightning damage. Yeah, this is a buff. All right, let's take a look at Bladefall. Bladefall now has 100% increased critical strike chance. That is awesome. Now has 20% reduced critical strike chance per volley, as well as 6% less damage per volley. Okay, interesting. Previously, there was no penalty per volley to critical strike chance. Basically, now the more you're throwing out your Bladefall, the less damage it's going to do and the less crits it's going to hit. So on its initial cast, it's going to do a bunch of damage. It's front-loading its damage. Now it has a cast time of 0.07 seconds, down from 0.8. So slight buff there. So Bladefall will be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that's more consistent or not for those of you that use Bladefall, whether you use Bladefall totems or self-cast, or maybe even COC. Include Bladefall in on your COC if you're really hipster. All right, Earthquake. The base delay between the initial attack and the aftershock is now 1 second, down from 1.5 seconds. That is awesome. That's a buff, because that means that the less duration that you need to increase in it between casting to when the damage actually sets off to when you can cast your next Earthquake is a lot lower. So the Aftershock now deals more damage as the gem levels, dealing 69% more damage at gem level 20, up from 50%. I think this is going to be my league starter. I think I'm going to go with the EQ Jug, but maybe not. I may do something else. I may do Lacerate. Lacerate really looks nice, but Earthquake has gotten a buff. Flame Surge now deals even more damage when hits against burning enemies as the gem levels up to 88% more at gem level 20, up from 50% at all levels. So it's a buff at the higher levels, but it's a nerf at the lower levels. So, both the nerf and the buff text apply here to Flame Surge. All right, Firestorm now deals 4 to 11 fire damage at gem level 1, up from 4 to 10. So literally a buff of 1 damage at the high end. Woo! Up to 202 to 302 fire damage at gem level 20, up from 162 to 243. So that's a pretty significant buff for Firestorm. Frostbomb now deals 14 to 21 cold damage at gem level 1, up from 10 to 14. That's a buff. Up to 959 to 1439 cold damage at gem level 20, up from 521 to 781. So that's almost double both on the lower rolls and the higher rolls. That's just a buff across the board for Frostbomb. Now it has a 2-second delay before exploding and applies a debuff which lasts 5 seconds and grants minus 25% cold resistance to affected enemies. Previously, it had a 3.5-second delay after exploding and applied a debuff which only lasted 2 seconds and granted 20% cold resistance to affected enemies. So that's a buff across the board of Frostbomb. Now has an added damage effectiveness of 200%, up from 130. Buff it! Buff all the things! That's GGG's new approach. Why nerf it? Just buff it! And I love it. It's going to be great because everything is going to be meta. Well, no, Jake. What's the best thing out there? Everything is the best right now. At least pre-Incursion day 1. Everything is the best right now because we're all theory crafting. It's like Christmas Eve. Just have fun with it. All right, Fireball now deals 7 to 10 fire damage at gem level 1, same as previously, up to 890 to 1335 fire damage at gem level 20, which is a buff by about 100 to 200 DPS. Like that's a buff across the board for Fireball. Now has a cast time of 0.75 seconds, down from 0.85 seconds. That's a buff. Now gains up to +4 to the explosion's radius at gem level 20. That's a buff, up from 3. Now has added damage effectiveness of 160 up from 100. That's a buff. Now deals 50% more damage with ignites at gem level 1, up to 88% more at gem level 20. This is a buff. Fireball looks awesome. Those of you that are going to be auto bombers and fireballers, like, it's going to be fantastic. Flame Blast now deals 90% more damage with ailments for each stage. Fire Blast, Flame Blast is now finally getting its ignite abilities back, which is great. Now it has 5% chance to ignite for each stage. Now costs 3 mana at gem level 1, down from 6, up to 6 mana at gem level 20, down from 9. It's just buffed across the board. Magma Orb now deals 8 to 10 fire damage at gem level 1, up from 6 to 9, up to 699 to 1049 fire damage at gem level 20, which is also up. Not by much, but it's up. So Magma Orb also getting buffed. The speed at which projectile bounces has been significantly increased. Spark now deals 120 1 to 20 lightning damage at gem level 1, not 120 damage at gem level 1. 1 to 20 gem at gem level 1, same as previously, but here's the buff. Up to 52 to 997 damage at gem level 20, up from 44 to 832. So we may see a Spark meta start to come back a little bit, especially with all the buffs to lightning damage and to shock chance and to lightning traps. Now gains 1% increased projectile speed per gem level, up to 19% increased projectile speed at gem level 20. Awesome! Projectiles now have a base duration of 2 seconds, up from 1.5. Now has added damage effectiveness of 100%, up from 70%. Awesome. All right, Body Swap now has a cast time of 0.6 seconds, down from 0.8. So those of you that are flying around the map using Poet's Pen, oh my goodness, that's great. Blade Vortex. Here are the changes to Blade Vortex. Blade Vortex now has 35% increased hit rate for each blade, up from 10%. Now deals 35% more damage with hits and ailments for each blade, up from 30% for hits and 20% for ailments. Now has 10% increased critical strike chance for each blade, and now has a limit of 10 active spinning blades, down from 20. Okay, so everything got buffed except the number of blades that you can have active. So again, this will be one that we'll have to see whether or not this is truly a buff. I think it is, but we'll wait and see. Ethereal Knives now deals 6 to 9 physical damage at gem level 1, up from 4 to 6, up to 457 to 685 damage at gem level 20, which is a slight increase. It's a decrease on the lower end by 2, but it's a slight increase by 3 on the top end for EK. So slight buff to EK. All right, Blast Rain now converts 100% of physical damage to fire, up from 50%. Buff. Now penetrates 15% fire resistance at gem level 1, up to 25% at gem level 20. Buff. Barrage now has an added damage effectiveness of and base damage of 40% at gem level 1, down from 50%. All right, that's a slight nerf. Up to 47% at gem level 20, down from 61%. Okay, slight nerf, but it now fires 4 projectiles, up from 3. So slight buff. So we've yet to see. You know, leave us a comment. What do you think? Those of you that have played barrage builds. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Freezing Pulse now deals 7 to 10 cold damage at gem level 1, up to 798 to 1197 cold damage at gem level 20, up from 689 to 1034. That's a buff. The projectile now moves more quickly at the start and slowly decelerates. The damage now drops to 50% at maximum distance, up from 0%. Okay, so interesting. Nerf, buff. Those of you that play shotgunning builds like Freezing Pulse, let us know in the comments. What do you think? Okay, last couple of ones. Ice Crash can now be supported by Multi-Strike. Doriani's Touch can now be supported by Multi-Strike. Static Strike now correctly states that the explosion cannot be evaded or dodged. Wither clarified the skills description. Phase Run, cast time lowered to 0.25 seconds. That's a buff. Tempest Shield, cast time lowered to 0.25 seconds. That's a buff. And Flame Dash, when targeting an unwalkable area, it will now teleport you as close to the edge as it can rather than not casting. That is a buff, so you'll not get stuck and going, hey, wait, I was flame dashing out of there. Now you'll actually flame dash out. So what do you think of all of these changes? Because there's a ton of stuff that's getting tweaked. A ton of stuff is getting adjusted. What are you going to play? Let us know in the comments down below. Get excited. We're less than 2 days away from Incursion.